for joining us tonight. My name is Gary Morris. I'm the Director of Career Services here at SUNY Oswego. You may have noticed that the world changed a little bit about 12 months ago, and we've all learned to do things a little differently. One thing that has changed is the explosion of the gig economy and the opportunity it affords all of you. It is a pleasure to welcome Phil tonight to discuss one company's efforts to connect all of you to an amazing and exploding industry. Phil's an Oswego alum that graduated with a computer science degree way back in 1985. His people skills led him naturally into sales, and he started his career with NCR based out of New York City, selling personal computers to Fortune 500 corporations. Phil was met with early success with NCR and won the Chairman's Award for the Computer System Division's top salesperson. With the rapid explosion of technology in the early 90s, a San Francisco-based startup recruited Phil to move out west. The startup world in Silicon Valley was challenging and very stimulating. Phil remained in Silicon Valley for 17 years, and he was part of 5 founding teams. With an impactful realization of how fast life was whizzing by, Phil took an inventory of things he was passionate about. That list included traveling and experiencing new cultures, music, food, and people. That insight inspired him to launch an online marketing company in his second language, Spanish. Working online from his condo in San Francisco took 3 years to get this new venture flowing. He then packed his laptop and carry-on luggage to travel while he worked in Latin America. The goal was to travel for 4 months. This new venture had many exciting twists, including a project with the CEO of a large multinational that included several universities, where they hosted the Entrepreneur Summit in Lima, Peru. That summit filled a soccer stadium. This business included building a portfolio of online courses and hosting webinars and live events from Phil's various cities in his travels. 7 years later, Phil returned to the US with a calling to take everything he learned to the next level and combine his life purpose with his income streams. In his travels, Phil discovered that his purpose was to help entrepreneurs. Today, Phil is a founding member of Rebound Employment that is helping individuals with challenging pasts. His education platform is installed in correctional facilities throughout the United States, and with reentry programs that help those released to contribute to society again and gain sustainable income streams. The same purpose-driven motive is expanding his online training to entrepreneurs of all walks of life. This brings Phil with us today to share a strategy and some digital vocations you can leverage to earn extra income while studying. This same strategy can help you get experience with your career of choice and the topics you enjoy exploring, build critical career readiness skills, and connect with employers. So, without further ado, I'm actually going to get out of the way, and I'll let Phil tell us all about this unique opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary, and thank you, students of Oswego. Thank you for being here and connecting with me today and sharing your energy. It's been many moons that have been sitting on your seat over there on campus, but this really feels good. So I understand that getting part-time jobs on campus today is hard to near impossible in this post-pandemic world that we're living in. So today I want to share with you a strategy on how you could leverage this new gig economy and this new gig economy to help you get extra income naturally without having to sacrifice all the time that you need for studying and other campus activity, right? And more importantly, like Gary just mentioned, not only could this provide extra income to help you with school and campus life, but this could also help you get valuable experience to help jumpstart your career when you're ready to graduate. Sound good? All right. All right, so let's get started. Let me share my screen here. And if you have any, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, so we're going to have plenty of time for questions and answers at the end. But if you have any questions, comments, or anything, just leave them in the chat. So let's get going. Okay, how to prosper as a student in the new gig economy. The secrets to working on campus on your own terms with the hours that you want to dedicate at the times that are most convenient, the pay rate that you decide, and the geographic freedom that you deserve. I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. All right. You don't have to tell me. I know that sounds a little over the top, maybe even bordering on fantasy world, right? Decide the pay rate that you want and the times you want to work. It really doesn't sound like reality. But here's the deal. Give me just 30 minutes. I'm going to go through this. I will share with you what this gig economy is all about, the 9 digital skills that you could use right away to start generating this work when you want income stream. And finally, if this is for you, because it's not going to be for everyone, we will invite you to be part of a team so we can go through this training together. And we'll actually coach you through your first paying jobs to guarantee that you get a 5-star rating. And later you'll see how important getting 5-star ratings is. And that's what this whole training is about, to teach you how to get a 5-star rating. So sound good? We got a deal? All right, let's go. All right. So basically, the gig economy, freelancing, it's all about crowdsourcing, right? And crowdsourcing has really impacted companies of all sizes. Gary mentioned I spent some time in Silicon Valley back in the day, and this wasn't that long ago, but we would need like $500,000 just to get a prototype done, because by the time you hire a handful of engineers and get rent in San Francisco, which was not cheap, and then all the administrative staff and everything you need, you burning money pretty quickly. But today, 2 people with a good idea can hire a marketing team remotely, can hire engineers remotely, customer service remotely, and really you could get started for a fraction of the cost of what it was in the past. And the same thing goes with big companies. Big companies, if they're not careful, right, they're going to get disrupted by these startups. So big companies have to get used to testing things quickly and seeing if it's for them. So a manager in a big company might just get a budget and say, okay, go hire some freelancers and test this thing out. And if it works, maybe we'll bring it in-house, right? So it's really impacting companies of all sizes all over the world. Okay. Now, this is an infographic. This came from 2019 study. Upwork is a freelancing site. We'll talk about them later, but they commissioned a third party. This was like the Freelancers Union to do this study. And I just want to share a couple of the points here because there's some interesting things. Okay, 57 million Americans freelanced in 2019. It went up to 59 in 2020. That's another report. I've got some slides for that too. So this is like a third of the US workforce, 35% of the US workforce, right? This is not just some hidden side thing. Freelancing is the 4th largest industry in the United States. So it's big. You'll love this. Young generations are more likely to freelance. 53% of Gen Zs and 40% of millennials are entering into the freelancing space. Gary mentioned that I help people that have challenging paths. Freelance opens up opportunities. 46% of freelancers agree that it gives them the flexibility they need because they're unable to work for a traditional employer due to personal circumstances, right? So it's very flexible. You'll see that. Freelancing gives flexibility. 7 out of 10 freelancers said they would move out of the city if they had the same opportunities. Well, freelancing gives you that. You just need an internet connection, basically. Tech is enabling freelancing. 77% of freelancers say that it's making it easier to do freelancing work because of the technology evolving. I really like this one. Soft skills matter. 78% of freelancers agree that soft skills are at least equally as important as technical skills. So again, I think that just speaks to the human nature of this. And this is probably the reason we're here today. Education needs to adapt. 89% of freelancers wish education better prepared them for freelancing work. So we're trying to address that today. And just to be clear, this is not just for students. 64% of top professionals top professionals in their field are increasingly choosing to work independently as a freelancer. So this is really impacting all of society. And then here, just one more slide. This is from the 2020 report. Most freelancing by choice are highly likely to continue freelancing in the future. 71% of Gen Z freelancers were freelancing by choice over necessity. Okay, in this case, maybe if this is for you, you want to start at a necessity because there's no other jobs. But 9 out of 10 Gen Z freelancers overall are more likely to do the work in the future. So I'm just trying to point out here that this is popular, right? All right, let's get started. What's this all about? 9 new professions that allow you to work from home or from anywhere on your own terms. Okay, what type of people could do this? First of all, anyone who needs to make more money, right? It doesn't have to be your full-time thing. If maybe you need a car or something, you say, okay, I'm going to do some freelancing work. If I can make an extra $300 a month, I can get this new car. All right. People who have lost their jobs and have difficulty finding new ones. Parents at home who wish to continue working, right? Perfect. Students, yay, or anyone with an irregular schedule. Again, from everything we're talking about, you could schedule when you want to do this work. Anyone who desires to live outside of the city, I brought this up with that infographic. People with disabilities or any physical limitations, perfect, right? You get to work from home. You don't have to struggle trying to commute to work every day. Retired men and women, any individual willing to learn. And we mentioned this, people looking to erase their past and get a fresh start. That's why this is so applicable to people who are, in a corrections facility or trying to get back and contribute to society. But why is it so flexible? Because there's no boss. This totally bypasses the whole resume interview process. There's only stars. Which this means now, obviously, if you have a solid, strong resume, you could put it on your freelancing profile and it will help you. But for the most part, clients are interested in how many 5 stars you got for a similar job that they want to hire you for. They're not going to ask you your GPA. They're not going to ask you if you're a freshman or a senior. They don't care for the most part. If they see that you get a portfolio of 5-star ratings, you're going to get work consistently. Okay, so that's why this is such an even playing field. And by the way, not only do they rank you, but you rank the client. Were they easy to work with? Did they communicate well? So a completely level playing field. All right, so I'm going to get into this, but I just want to mention as a little aside that this course originally launched in the Spanish market. It wasn't mine. It was a colleague of mine, my business partner now, Juan Martitequi, who had a large company. But this course, Virtualianet, it's called, grew to 25,000 clients, individuals worldwide, people of all ages. And here you see the Facebook page with over 800,000 followers. Here's the YouTube channel with 17,000 subscribers. And this YouTube channel was full of testimonials. That's all it was. And again, mostly young people there, but it was people of all ages, retired, people who got downsized. It was, and this course is no longer available in Spanish. I translated it to English 2 years ago, and we're opening it up now in English to new markets. And here's how it works. There's all these freelancing sites. These are not all of them. These are like some of them. And by the way, just a little aside, the only freelancing site that started in Spanish was Workana. The whole market is in English, right? But the point here is that here's entrepreneurs and companies of all sizes post jobs here, thousands of new jobs every day. And then freelancers go to these sites to apply for different jobs or gigs, as they're called, right? And the other good news is that the freelancing sites take care of the whole money exchange. So you don't have to go chase a client. You finished a project 2 weeks ago and they didn't pay you. Wow, I got to go chase that money. No. If I hire you, my credit card and whatever, that amount that I'm hiring you for goes into like an escrow. When you finish the job and you submit it to me and I accept it, the freelancing site pays you. Okay, so that makes it very efficient. And for tax reasons and all that, you have a record of everything you did. Okay, let's dive in. The 9 digital professions that will allow me to work from anywhere, be my own boss, choose my own hours, and create my own income without having to be a technology ninja or gifted writer. All right, I know, sounds good, but by the end of this, hopefully this will make some sense. And you'll say, yeah, okay, that's doable. I get it. All right, so these are the 9 professions. It's really 8, and we're going to get into this one by one. The last one is creating your own product and service. Now you see here, these are the entry-level hourly rates. And one thing I want to point out, which you'll see later, you could double or triple these rates by, instead of charging per hour, charge by project. And I'll show you an example of that. Because if you're charging to write a 500-word article and you're charging $100, maybe that takes you 2 hours. That's $50 an hour. It might take you 4 until you get the rhythm, right? But the point is you could charge by project. And also, we'll get into this, but if like web content, if you're a chemistry major and maybe a pharmaceutical company wants to hire you because you know the vocabulary, you could charge the upper end of that hourly rate. You don't have to start at $15 an hour. You could start at $35, right? So we'll get into this, but I just wanted to point out some of those things. All right. let me get into one by one what this is all about and how it could apply to you. The first one is web content creator, which is basically, like I mentioned before, writing articles, right? So again, yes, you could write articles about the things you're studying in school and things that you're looking for as a career, which I think would be great. And that's one way you get experience in the market that you're trying that you're focusing on for your career. But you could also write articles about the things you're passionate about. Are you into yoga? Are you into music? Are you into dancing? Are you into art? So if you have a passion, you could find work because there's websites all over the world that need articles written. So this is a simple gig that you can do. And again, you could leverage what you're studying, but you could also leverage just what you're passionate about. Okay, customer support. This is probably the one that's the most rigid because there's 3 types of customer support. There's phone support, there's chat support, which is becoming really popular now, and there's email support. So phone support and chat support, you basically have to be with your green light on and available because they're going to start routing chats and calls to you. So there, yeah, you got to say, okay, I'm available these 4 hours and then these 4 hours. But email support, usually that's like, the client might say, okay, I just need a 24-hour response time. So you might have to log in several times a day to see if there's any new emails that came in and answer them, right? But this is the way it used to be, this picture where you go into a call center and that's where you work. But today it's like this. It's individuals working from their desktop. The laptop becomes the phone. And I'm telling you, big companies like Apple and American Express, all their customer service is people working from home. Now, yeah, if you do customer support like telephone, they check to make sure there's not loud noise in the background or whatever, that it's a professional setting. So this might have some restrictions there, but it's very flexible, and companies from all over the world are hiring customer support work from home. Web design. Now here we're not teaching, if there's any computer science majors out there, we're not teaching HTML or any kind of programming. We're teaching how to use WordPress, how to use Weebly, how to use software that basically has all the templates and everything done. You've got to change the pictures, change the text, and create a website for someone, right? And this could be a very lucrative profession. And again, once somebody wants a website done, you say it's going to take me 2 days. You do it when you want. You want to do it late at night. You want to do it early in the morning. You decide. Okay, social media manager. This is another very flexible one because a company says, okay, they're going to hire you. They go, okay, I want a tweet a day. I want a Facebook post a day. They tell you, which social networks they're on and what they want your help with. And in the course, in the training, we teach how to use a software tool called Hootsuite, where you could sit down on a Monday morning and program all the posts that you want to do for a client for the rest of the week. And it's on autopilot. You can program it for 2 weeks if you want. So you could do your work in condensed hours and then just check in to see how things are going. And maybe you want to check on the comments and what people are saying and answer them. But again, this is something that you can concentrate the time that you focus on social media manager. And this is a very popular job. Online advertising manager. I love this one because here you're actually helping businesses getting feet in the door, right? So, whether it's the local barbershop or restaurant or plumber or whoever the business is, and in the course we teach Facebook, Instagram advertising, but we're also easily can add, YouTube advertising, Google AdWords. We could add more to this, but we kept it fairly streamlined to start. But advertising manager is a great profession and very lucrative. In most cases, people charge like a monthly retainer to do this. So you get paid a flat fee per month, and then you decide how long it takes you to do a good job for each client. All right, virtual assistant. Now, virtual assistant is really a combination of a lot of these skills. A company or an entrepreneur will hire you and say, okay, look, I need you to do a blog post a week. I've got this sales report that I need, edited. Maybe you have access to somebody's calendar and you help them book appointments or travel. But a virtual assistant, and this could also be something that more or less they might want you available at certain times of the day, but not necessarily. It might just be, hey, I want you to do these 3 things during the week and just keep it going. And if you need me, send me an email or send me a chat and let's go from there. Now, the next 2 could fall very nicely under virtual assistant. And I got to tell you, these jobs are still available, but the technology has gotten phenomenal. Transcriber. Transcriber is basically taking an audio file or a video file and giving the client the written equivalent. And there's software out there, and we cover it in the course. There's software out there that does a phenomenal job of this. But you know what? Even the client might know that that software is out there, but they want you to do it because they want you to put the text in a nicely written, with the spell check and the Grammarly and with the headline. They want you to format it in a certain way. So this could be an easy job to do. You use the software, the technology to get the raw text file, and then maybe have to massage the text file a little bit, and you're done. Same thing with this one, translator. Now, if you know 2 languages, this could be great for you, right? But since lately, Google Translate, when it first came out, was okay. It was okay, but now it's really phenomenal. And I don't know Japanese. I know how to count to 10, but I don't know Japanese. But if somebody gives me a report in Japanese, I could put it into Google Translate and get the English equivalent of it. And I could work that English equivalent and say, okay, let me fix the titles. Let me fix the formatting and do this. I actually saw a job the other day for translation for poetry. So if you're into poetry, and you're translating from one language to another, I don't think Google Translate's going to make sure that everything rhymes and has the right beat to it. So, maybe you use Translate to get the bulk of the poem translated, but then you've got to work it a bit, right? So interesting gigs. The last one is basically what I'm doing, launching courses. And this is great I've seen so much of this in the post-pandemic era. This lady might be a personal trainer at the gym. The gym closed down. Now she's recording her own training course from home, right? And I'm sure you've seen this. It's all over YouTube. It's everywhere. Yoga online and all these courses online. But this could be anything. This could be any course of anything that you're studying or passionate about. Now, in the training, we actually teach you how to write an ebook. And we teach you how to write an ebook either by yourself or in a team where everybody's responsible for one chapter. And that could be a real great team building exercise and something fun to do. And you could publish that on Amazon. And if you know a little bit of online advertising and social media manager, now you could actually promote that ebook and maybe even make it a bestseller in its category, right? So that's the last one out of the 9. So this one's one, basically launch your own product or service. Okay, so in the course, there's a 90-day plan. But let me tell you a little secret. This doesn't have to take you 90 days. If you already like writing or you like anything that I just mentioned here, you could go through the introduction module and you could be up and running, applying for gigs next week if you want, right? But in the 90-day plan, just to let you know how it works, the 5 steps to getting your first freelancing gig. First step, decide which digital profession is best suited for you. We recommend in general to go through all 9 of them, just so you know what they're about. You know what? In the future, you could even form teams with your friends of, other people that complement what you do. But choose, usually out of the 9 professions, you could choose 1 or maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these talents, these digital professions that you like to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is choose a freelancing platform. Remember that slide with all the different freelancing sites? Okay. It's better to choose 1 and focus on 1 so you can collect your 5-star ratings all in one instead of spreading yourself out thin. So that's step 2. Step 3 is create your profile. And again, we cover this in the course in detail because this is a really important part, is how to create your profile the right way so people hire you. Step 4 is start to respond to jobs. And step 5 is do a great job and ask for ratings. Actually, the secret is you have to ask for 5 stars. Hey, look, client, I'm really in this for the 5 stars. If you don't like what I did, I'll do it again. But the 5 stars is really important for me. You'll be surprised just by asking for it. They'll say, I don't want to get to their head. I'm just going to give them 4 stars. No, you ask for it, you get 5 stars. So that's it. That's the 5 steps. So really, again, if there was any of these digital skills that you already have, go through the introduction module, get the coaching. We're going to get into this. Which is right here, open office support. This is actually what made this so popular in the Spanish market. They started off doing this once a week, like Zoom calls like this, where not only can you come in with questions or challenges from the course, but you can actually come in and say, hey, Phil, I just got this new job, this new gig, and I got writer's block. I don't know what to do. Help me out. Right. So this is what made it so popular. So it's like having a team of freelancing experts look over your shoulder at each step. And this is great. And this is not only, at the beginning, it's going to be yours truly, but I want to hire a team behind me. So, just I might be looking for some people to help me expand the support team here. But this will be great. Not only me helping you, but hopefully we're going to help each other. because there might be something on a niche that I might not be the expert in and you are. And so let's help each other do really well with these 9 professions. Okay, this is key. How many proposals does it take to get a client? All right, so when you first get started, you don't have any ratings. So it could take you, and this is, based on history of 25,000 students, right, in the Spanish market. It might take you up to 25 proposals. And a proposal is not like something that takes you hours to do. A proposal takes you 5 to 10 minutes to respond to. Yes, you should personalize your proposal, but a lot of it, or 3/4 of it, can be cut and paste. But it could take you up to 25 proposals to get your first job. Now, here's the good news. In the course, we have a little additional class that teaches you how to get jobs from people in your neighborhood, or from Oswego, or maybe friends and family. You might know people that own a restaurant, that own a barbershop, that own whatever. You can say, hey, look, I could help you. I could write articles for you. I could do some online advertising for you, but don't hire me directly. Hire me through Upwork, because I'm really into this for the 5 stars. You can give them a great deal if you want. But the point is, if you can collect your first couple of 5-star ratings that way, it'd be great, because once you get at least 1 to 3 5-star ratings, this gets cut in half. 1 out of every 11 proposals, you should get a new client. And finally, once you get more than 4 5-star ratings, 1 out of every 4 proposals, you got a client. Now, here's the important thing too. A lot of these gigs that I shared with you in the past, it's not like you have to go chase new clients every week. It very easily gets to the point where you have 2 or 3 clients hiring you full time. Like they're basically saying, okay, do this for me every week. And you decide, do I want 1 client and that's enough? Or do I need 2 and that's enough? Or do I need 3 and that's enough? Let's say you have 3 and 1 drops you because whatever, their restaurant closed down. Now you're not going from, oh, I just had a job, to now I'm unemployed. You want, oh, I just dropped by 25%, by 30%. Let me get another client now. So you see how flexible this is. Okay, so now I want to take you behind the scenes and show you a little bit about how it works. This is a screen from Upwork. And here I just, here you're searching for jobs. So I just put a lot of the ones that we teach here in the course here. But look at all the flexibility you have. You say, okay, I'm looking for an entry-level job. In this case, 743 people looking for entry-level folks. They're like, it's okay. We're going to teach you. Don't worry. I just need somebody to, do the social media. We're going to give you all the content. I just need you to post it. I don't need to pay for an expert. Okay. But you might say, hey, look, I'm intermediate. I'm really good at writing. I'm just a little, new to the platform. Let me start off, looking for intermediate work. Maybe you don't want to reply to somebody who already has 20 to 50 proposals already handed in. You say, okay, I just want to reply to anybody that has less than 10 to 15. You could pick your client based on the budget they have, based on how many hours per week they're looking for. So here's all the flexibility where you can control what kind of jobs even show up for you, right? Okay, so now let me share with you, I did some searches and here are some jobs that came up, and here's the difference. None of these people are charging by hour, they're charging by project. So here, Richard, you'll get an outstanding research blog article for your website, right? He's a content creator. Here he's got 3 categories: starter, standard, and advanced. The only difference was starter was a 500-word article, standard was a 1,000-word article, and advanced was a 1,500-word article, as it says here. So $200 for a 1,500-word article, that's what, 5-6 pages? I don't know if that takes, if that takes 4 hours, that's still $50 an hour, right? So the point is that as you get good at this, and maybe if it's a subject that you're really, passionate about and know a lot about, you don't have to spend all that time researching. You just start writing. I think this could be. I just want to show you how you don't have to sell yourself by the hour. Here's another example: web design. Jaina here, same thing: starter, standard, and advanced. The only difference was how many pages in the website. And remember, these are WordPress or Weebly, and the templates are already there. You just got to put the words and change the pictures, and hopefully, the client is giving you all that information. But here she's charging $1,200 for a 5-page website, and she says it's going to take me 2 days to do. That's $1,200, right? What if you get one of these? Maybe you just need one a month. Maybe you need one every 2 weeks. But the point is, you can see how this could really add or double or triple what you charge by hour just by charging for the project. One more: social media manager for 1 month, $1,350. This means that she does 13 posts a day. Here, this was further down below, but I'm pasting it here. The starter package. Actually, here she's actually opening up the pages on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And on the standard, she's opening up on 5 platforms. So here she's actually starting from scratch. You know, Diane here, she's opening up the platforms, and she's doing, in this case, for standard 20 professional content designs, which are like basically posts for this, and you know, $13.50. So again, do you need one of these a month or one a week? You know, again, based on how much time it takes you to do. But in this case, you know, she's got to be attentive, you know, every day, but it doesn't mean she has to be at a desk working, you know, 9 to 5 every day. Okay. Now here, I actually did the opposite. I opened up, I also have an account as a client where I hire freelancers. So I searched for some freelancers. And Ashley was interesting because further down in her profile, it showed that she started college in Arizona at 2016. And she started on Upwork on 2016. So she's basically a college student as she was doing freelancing work. And here she was only charging $15 an hour, which I think is the only error because she was doing a phenomenal job. I'll show you in a second some of the jobs she did, but she's a writer. She does novels, ebooks, she's a ghostwriter, brochures. You know, she's really passionate about this. 100% success rate means she never got less than 5 stars from a client. And she made over 20K. It doesn't even tell you this. This could be, you know, I think the next breakout is 30K. So could have been 25K, and she could have been on more than one freelancing platform. But here I want to show you, here are 2 clients. This was still Ashley that hired her here from 2016, here from 2017, ongoing. So again, she only has job in progress. Look at 250 hours for this client. So again, it's not like you have to go chasing new clients every day or every week or every month, right? Once you do something, you synergize with that client, it could be ongoing work. Okay, so let's wrap this up. How do you learn? First of all, every module, there's an introduction module, which teaches you everything from, you know, opening up your profile and how the platforms work and all that, and how you get paid, all that stuff. But then each of the 9 digital professions, there's a video introduction that tells you what the profession is all about, so that you can say, hey, this is interesting. Let me go further, or this is not for me. Let me skip it. Right. But there's video walkthroughs where I'll share my screen and I'll actually show you how to do the work. A summary, there's PDFs, you know, slides and things you could take just so you could, to help you out. There's a short quiz at the end of each module, which is really for you. But in the future, we might have like a, you know, maybe working with Oswego, we could have something like a certificate that you get at the end of this. But, you know, but the point is the quizzes right now is just there for you to see what you retained, if there's anything you want to review again. And in a lot of these digital professions, as you know, because it's the internet, changes frequently. So we have to keep this all updated. Okay, the live office hours, like I talked about, this was the best part. I believe it's the best part. You know, it's a live conference. We answer your questions. We help you with the jobs, how to code it, how to respond to a client, how to take care of a task. And during this, which we'll talk about at the end, we want to do a little pilot. We'll all stay connected either through a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or whatever we decide. But that way during a week, you know, people could say, hey, I'm stuck, or I got this thing, or I just got a new job, and we all help you celebrate. But let's keep in touch during the week. And then once a week, we'll do a live Zoom call. And then there's these 4 complimentary advanced classes. There's a mindset exercise that I think you'll really enjoy. Advanced tip for marketplace. This is really the behind the scenes mindset of how to get 5 stars, how to talk to the client, how to ask the client, how do you prefer to communicate, through email, through chat, through Skype, through WhatsApp. You know, how to charge for your services, and the 90-day plan that I talked about before. So these are just complimentary classes. You know, they're just short videos to help you out. And this one I also mentioned before too, how to find clients on the offline world. And this is a great way to get started. You could use this there in Oswego. You could use it back home. You could get on the phone with uncles and aunts or whoever that have businesses and say, hey, I just started with this thing. Help me out. You know, hire me through Upwork, but you know, I'll give you a great rate and I'll do, you know, whatever, you know, give them a special offer. But this could be a great way for you to get started as well. And Gary and I talked about this, but maybe we could rally some of the Oswego alumni to hire you as well. So I think we can get this thing jump started. Okay, so that's it. That's my 30 minutes. I don't know if I went over. Here we're going to pass you a link to a survey. If you want to be part of this team, we want to form a team. This is a pilot. And we want to work together through the course and also to help you through your first paying gigs. So we'll put the link here, Gary, somewhere. But if I click on this, and again, maybe it's something that's not of interest, or it's not the right timing right now, but you just want to leave some feedback. You could, you know, here's some open an open field that you could just leave some feedback of what you thought, but we just have a couple of questions here and that's it. And Gary, I don't know if you want to join me again and we could talk about this pilot that we're proposing to do. Wow.
Yes, that was great. I would encourage folks, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I've got several here. So I might start with those in case other people have these same questions. And while you're answering that, I'm going to dig up that link and put that in the chat as well.
Can I do it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, let's see. Chat. This is kind of a long link. I had a bit.ly somewhere, but let me just, I think this will work. Okay, so that's the link, and I'm sure we could send it to you later through an email or something as well.
Yep. So, that link is, at the end of this, it's 7 o'clock, and you've heard everything you need to hear. Are you still interested in this? And, you might want to think about it for a day or two. We're going to reach out to folks that go to that link, just fill out a quick form that say, hey, this is who I am and I'm interested. And they're not seeing the link in the chat. That's interesting.
Let me get.
I think it just went to, yep, sorry, folks.
Oh, panelists, I could do it again. Panelists and attendees, there we go.
There you go.
All right.
So that link will let us know you're interested. And at that point, we can reach out to talk to you about what the first steps in this process are. Yeah, perfect. That link's working now. Fill out a couple questions here. But first, one student did have a question. I want to make sure their questions get answered first here. And it's in the chat from Kaylin. Can we really learn enough through the training to effectively do these jobs? I'm interested in web design, but I've never done this. I'm a graphic design minor in school, so I'm not blind to graphics. So with no experience in web design, can I learn enough to do some of these web design jobs?
Yes, absolutely. And just keep in mind, remember when this course originated selling directly to consumers, and it's just enough so you could learn how to use Weebly, how to use WordPress. WordPress has thousands of free templates and themes, and they have a bunch of more for pay. So really, it takes you through a walkthrough of the whole thing. Plus, you have the open office to ask questions and to help out. But it's enough to get you started and going. And really, that's where the experience will come in. And there's also, in addition to the course, because things are always changing, there's always new releases coming out. Just do a YouTube search and you'll find a lot of things too. But we give you all the tools you need to really complete your first gig or job or task and get going. And experience is going to do the rest for you. But and a lot of this really is psychological. It's having the confidence that, yeah, I did a couple of websites already. I know I could do a good job for this person, and these templates, they're already done. And if you have a graphics design background, perfect for you, because you do have to know the colors that go well. You have to know the layout, what's the business all about, to make sure that the layout is congruent with what they're selling, if it's a professional look or a fun look. So for a graphics design focus that you have, I think that web design will be perfect for you.
What type of personal information is on my account profile that people will see, or can I control that?
Great question. Really what you want to present, what's best practices for your profile. You do have to have, they do recommend a picture, although I do see some people putting like cartoon images of themselves. So, you don't even have to have a real picture, but you have a picture, you have your name, where you're from. And when you search for jobs, I don't know if I showed it there, you could say, hey, I'm only looking for people looking to hire US only, because you don't want to compete with people like in the Philippines or India that might do web design for $6 an hour. Nothing to say with them. It's just, the economies of different countries allows for people. So you could say, hey, I'm just looking for US only, but you have your name, where you're from. And I think, there is if I recall correctly, there's a certification process where they look at your IP or whatever to make sure that you're from the US, if you say you're from the US. And that's about it. I mean, yes, you have a whole bio that you could write. So you could say, I'm a college student. Oh, you don't have to say I'm a college student. You could say, I'm a chemistry major or an art major or whatever, or so in the course, we do go to a lot of detail on how to do a good profile, included with best practices. Don't get nervous, but is doing a video of yourself. And there's lots of tools like Zoom even, that you could do a video of yourself, but it's optional. It's not mandatory, but I think it adds a lot to it, where you could look at the camera and say, hey, look, I'm here. This is my specialty. I write articles, but I'm really passionate about yoga and art, blah, blah. And it's a way for people to connect with you, right? And one more thing I'm going to mention there is, which is kind of related, is that the platforms like Upwork have everything you need. You could just send text back and forth. They even have a video platform like Zoom inside of Upwork, so you don't have to leave it if you don't want. Although most people say, hey, here's my Zoom link. I'll see you, tomorrow morning at 9. Let's have a talk. So there is, if you're in a finalist, there's usually an interview process or something where you're talking to them. But not always. Sometimes it's just, okay, here's the article. You could have it done by Wednesday. Great. Here we go. Here's your test article. Let me see how that goes. So it's not like every single client you have to go through this whole process, but the profile is a very important piece of this. And back to the other question, this is really where the strategy of the course comes into play, is doing a good job. And that's all in the introduction module, how to do a good profile, how to respond to clients. And then there's a complementary course as well, the mindset of how to deal with the client, how to ask them the correct questions, how to ask them how they like to communicate. That's all the best practices that will really make you stand out in the crowd.
Another quick question. So, I know the employers submit financial information. Would our students need to submit any sort of financial information like bank routing numbers or credit cards? How do they get paid? Is it by check?
Yes, but that's not between you and the employer. That's between you and the freelancing company. So you can get paid via PayPal or through directly into your bank account. And that's between you and the freelancing company. The employer, the client that hires you, you don't have to give that information to. And then again, like in some cases, if you say, okay, I'm going to do your website for you, and this is part of what you decide. You say, hey, I want 50% down, and I'm going to have the website done by Thursday, and you can pay me the other 50%. But the freelancing platforms protect you. All right. So the only thing you have to be careful of is keeping the client happy, because you don't want the client giving you a 3-star rating. So again, we cover this in the course, but how to tell the client, hey, look, this is great. I give you my best. This is a perfect. And you also have to know how to say no to a job that you don't think you're the right, fit for. Sorry, but this is not really a good fit for me. But if you take a job because you're confident you can do it, then again, it's just about communicating with the client, saying, yeah, I'll have it done by, if something happens and you can't have it done by Thursday, communicate ahead of time. Hey, look, something happened, the snowstorm, whatever, I couldn't finish it, but no later than Friday afternoon up. So if you communicate with the client, they'll be tickled pink. They'll be really happy. And all that personal information is just between you and the freelancing site, and not between you and the client.
Got it. Thank you. A couple of questions came in from some students. Can you go over what the customer service and virtual assistant skills entail one more time? Sure.
Customer service, for the most part, and we cover this in the course too, all the natural skills. Remember that infographic I said that the soft skills are just equally as important as the technical skills? Well, here's a good example of it. In customer service, being empathic, being able to, your abilities to listen. When you hear something, repeat what they said. Okay, so I understand that your problem is that this happened and this happened and this happened, and you're looking for this just repeat what they said. And then, and a lot of the customer service too, they have the frequently asked questions. If it's chat support, it's basically cut and paste for the most part. And a lot of the clients that hire you for customer support have their own internal training programs. So we teach you the 3 types of customer support skills, what a ticket system is, how it works, what chat support is like, how it works. We even teach you how to organize your Google Docs, so you could have a nice, easy way to communicate with the client and organize yourself. We take nothing for granted. We even show you how to open up a Gmail account. So we start from scratch on all the things. But customer service is basically that. The other one was virtual assistant, right? With virtual assistant, it's really a combination of the skills of all the other skills. It depends on the client. I saw one where a VP of sales was hiring a virtual assistant, and they said, okay, for the first couple of months, I just want you to do these tasks, maybe a couple of posts on our Facebook and this and that. And he goes, but then after that, I want to give you access to my calendars, so you could help me with booking appointments or booking travel or something. So sometimes they'll start you off with smaller tasks, and as you win their confidence, they'll give you more responsibility. But again, and not all virtual assistant or customer service demands that you're at a desk at a certain period of time. But again, customer service, emails, chat support, and phone support, basically you have to clock in, and if your light is green, they'll start routing calls to you or chats to you. Where maybe email support, they don't have to. So again, there's a lot of flexibility here, but virtual assistant could be everything from always being there, attentive to the person that you work for, to just do these 3 tasks. And if you have any trouble, let me know. That's it. So it really depends on the client, and you get to read, you get really good at reading the profiles of the jobs and say, okay, that's for me and that's not for me. That's part of the task here.
Sure. Another question. Could you give us more information about your website and how we can connect to the freelancing websites?
Okay. You know what? I could share my screen. You want me to share my screen and show the actual course? I could do that real quick just to show you how this works. Now, this is something we need to give you access to. This is an LMS, or a learning management system. And this is the introduction module. This is Whitley Phipps. He does the introduction module, but my intent is to actually clone this course and personalize it for Oswego. So I might do but Whitley Phipps, if you know him, he's a famous gospel singer. He's the founder of the Dream Academy, which Oprah Winfrey funded. Very famous gospel singer, sang for 6 US presidents. Great guy, but he just did the introduction video here. But if you look at introduction, if I click on it, these are all the courses, the videos that are part of this, virtual home, the freelancing market, working on your own terms, how it works, the 9 digital professions and what they pay. Basically, a lot of things we covered today. Create your Gmail account, create your Upwork profile. I only cover Upwork, but the same concept of the profile applies to all the other sites. You just got to take the ideas and take them over. Getting paid, how do you get paid, your 90-day plan, the mindset. So this is all the introduction module. So if I click on introduction and close it, now here's transcriber. I click on that. Here are all the videos for transcriber. This is the introduction video that tells you what it's all about. Here's a typing test and how to take it. Again, transcriber, it used to be that you need to have to type fast, but now with the software that's available, and I even covered here Dragon Anywhere and NCH, and there's better ones now that I'm going to add to this that I found recently. But you don't have to type that much anymore. so transcriber just got super easy. But this is how this works. So this is the LMS, the learning management system, that we're going to give you access to. Again, this is part of what we want to work out. This is all based on a scholarship. We have another alumni that's going to sponsor this, and myself as well. So that's part of the proposal here is, and here are the advanced bonuses here at the end. So that's how this works. You just log in and you start with the introduction for sure. Listen to the first introduction of each one of these professions for sure, so you know what it's about. And it's recommended that you go through all 9, but you might say, you know what, I know right away. I'm going to do content creator, and I'm going to do web design. And some of these play together, because if you know how to write articles, if you do a website, you know how to write the website, and if you know how to advertise, once the website's launched, you could advertise it, right? So a lot of these are synergistic and they work together. But hopefully that answered your question. Went a little deeper, but
no, that was great, Phil. Once people can kind of get off the launch pad, how do they decide which freelance platform to use, or do you offer guidance on that? Is it Upwork or something else?
We cover this generally in the course, but some of them are very specific to like graphics design, to do. And by the way, there's other things here that we don't teach in this course that we could add in the future, or maybe already, like the person who's in graphics design. We don't teach graphics design here, but there's plenty of jobs here to do logos and things like that for companies, right? So there's some freelancing platforms that are specialized in certain things. and graphics is one of them. Upwork is the biggest one. There were two companies that merged together. Freelancer.com is another one that I like. But basically, I started with Upwork because it was the biggest platform and had the most jobs. But really, you could explore it. Go to their website. We list all the ones that we know, and you could see what they're about. And if one of them specializes in the things that you do, you might want to give it a try. So that's another thing we'll explore when we get started here, because I have been focused on just two platforms right now, but I might want to explore all the other ones, like the one I mentioned that was only in Spanish 5 years ago. Now it's all in English. So they're all evolving and changing. So, and you might find less competition in another one versus working on Upwork. So we'll dive into that. And that's probably a good topic when we do the weekly Zoom meetings that we can cover. And, all of us could do our own little research and share what we find. But for the most part in the course, I focus on Upwork just because it's the one I was on. But the strategies apply to all of them.
Yeah. Okay, great. I know we're running tight on time, but there's a couple other questions here. Is it okay to have split skills for Upwork? I have skills and portfolio for both video editing and designing software. Is it okay to have a profile with very different skills and abilities, or should I just focus on one or the other?
Excellent question. Twofold. One is, like, let's say I do marketing, but they let you do specialty profiles. So I could have one profile, but I could have one specialty for just advertising, another specialty just for copywriting, but I could have it all under one profile. And by the way, if you're into the technical skills, like you mentioned, that's even at a higher level, and the pay rates on those are even higher of anything I presented here. The technical skills are probably the most in demand, but everything else I presented are for entry level are the most in demand. But the technical skills, which we don't teach here, which maybe we will in the future, but you're learning that in school already. So I think you could do very, very well with some of the tech skills. And again, you could have, I'm not even up to speed on all, but you could say, okay, I do PHP here, or I do JavaScript there, and you could have specialty profiles underneath your technical profile for all the things you do. So when somebody searches for something specific, they'll come up with that profile. And if you remember that project, the different projects that I showed today, that's another example of it. So now that project was very specific, and then it had starter, standard, and advanced, right? So you could do the same thing with maybe app design or something like that. So good question, and we'll get more deeper into that when we get together on the weekly calls.
Got it. For the course, how many hours a week are required to kind of get through this and through the course on average?
Okay, I should have mentioned that. In the 90-day plan, again, if the student was going to go through all 9 of them, the first 2 months was to consume all 9 courses. And that's basically based on like an hour a day. You saw the course that, each module had like 5 to 9 videos. Each video is less than 15 minutes. So, so the first 2 months could be consuming all 9 vocations if that's what you want. And starting month 3, you should be, filling out your profile and starting to apply for jobs. But again, based on some of the skills that are already here in this room, you might say, okay, I'm going to look at the introduction module. I want to start right away writing articles or doing app development or whatever. And you could be hitting the ground running in 2 weeks, right? And then maybe in your free time, you could learn some other things that complement what you're doing. But you might be able to, after you finish the introduction module, which is, I think, 6 videos and some PDF files, next week you could be applying for your first jobs.
Is it, can it be a work at your own pace? Let's say a student is interested in writing, and another was interested in web design, and that person really wanted to do this quickly. They did the entire thing. They watched the whole thing in, 3 days, and they wanted to get moving. But would that have all of our students at different stages in this process?
Perfect. That's exactly how the LMS works. You have your own username, password, and as you consume the videos, the next time you log in, it'll say, okay, you're on video 7 and you're 15 minutes or 5 minutes into it. So it even keeps your place and all that. So that's why everybody has their own username, password. So it's not like everybody's doing it together. You want to finish the whole 9 professions in 2 weeks? go for it. That's great. So you really go at your own pace. And some of these video, I don't know if you could do it inside the LMS, but I do it all the time. There's some software apps you could download so you actually speed up the video. And not so I talk like this, but you could say, okay, speed it up by 20%. It doesn't sound that much different, and you consume the material faster. That's just a little hack, but yeah, you could do that.
Okay. Let's see. 3 minutes to go. I've got one other question, and then I think we want to set up next steps for folks to take.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, as you start the work, in order to get that work, do you start by offering to do things really cheaply and then increase your pay later? Or can people see your pay rate history that you've charged for certain projects?
The only history that they see is the average of your 5-star ratings. And when people leave you testimonials, they can't see that as well. So they could see, okay, remember when I saw Ashley, she had 100% rating. I mean, she got all 5-star ratings. By the way, if somebody gives you 3 stars because they were hard to work with, once you get enough 5-star ratings, it washes that away. So it's not like it taints you forever. Yeah, so that's basically how it works. I'm sorry that I missed the punch of the question.
No, that was my question. Really, is if you, I don't know, you charge $10 an hour or something to get this thing rolling, but then 3 clients later they're seeing that you charge $10 an hour and that's what they want to pay. But if they can't see that history, then it might just get the ball rolling if you come in at a little less expensive.
Yeah, with the testimonial, it actually does show the total dollars that job was for. But I wouldn't worry about it, because even like an article writing, if it shows $25 or whatever, it could have been a 1-page article. It doesn't have all the details in there, and then but that's actually standard. That you have an introduction rate until you collect your 5-star ratings, and then you could, as you get your confidence and you get your testimonials, you boost up your rates. And again, charging by the project, not by the hour, is also another way for you to accelerate what you get paid in faster time.
Got it. Perfect. All right. I think we have covered all of the questions. I think now it's about next steps. If you're interested in this, I would say go to that link, fill out the form, and we'll be back in touch pretty quickly. As Phil mentioned, this is about a $500 course that we're taking. We have some super generous alums who are interested in helping students go through experiences like this, and they're willing to underwrite this. All we would ask is that if you're going to start this process, kind of stick with it. As you can see from Phil's description, it takes a little while to get started, and you have to be a little determined to kind of get yourself off that launch pad in the beginning until its own momentum carries you through. So think about that, and we'd love for you to jump into this pilot with Phil, one of our great alums, if you're interested. So I'd say go to that form, fill it out. Phil and I will get together. We'll figure out what the next step is in the timeline, and we'll be back in touch with you.
Yeah, and from my part, really, if you heard the buy on a whole bit, I really think this is part of the future too. I think they call it social entrepreneurism now, but an entrepreneur is basically, my definition, is just somebody who connects their purpose with their income stream. And for me, I get a lot of satisfaction with this. If I could help out students in Oswego, where I went, and help you out, get that extra income while you're focused on your studies, and be able to, to me, this would have been a dream come true back in the day when I was there, right? So if I could help you out with this is great. And I really think that you'll get the same rush when you start working with clients from all over the place and say, wow, I just helped that restaurant in my hometown get some extra clients this week. And you're like, wow, that's great. I got paid and I'm helping out, So that's the underlying thing of this freelancing thing, is that it's little micro jobs. You can very easily, with 2 or 3 clients, have the equivalent or better than a full-time job. But you get to control it. How much time do you have? Maybe in the summertime, you'll take on more projects if you want. While you're in school, maybe you'll take on less. But that flexibility is what makes this whole thing really so interesting and unique. So it will be a pleasure and honor to work with you. I hope to see you when we get this thing launched. and let's keep in touch and see where it goes from here. Okay.
Yep, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Phil, for your time this evening. I appreciate you rolling this process out for us and offering to get SUNY Oswego involved in what I think you mentioned was the 4th largest industry in the country right now, the freelance marketplace. So let's give it a shot. Folks, if you're interested, go to that form, fill it out, and Phil and I'll be back in touch.